With the fifth, supersized season of Yellowstone nearly halfway over and the brand new prequel series 1923 that began on December 18th after months of anticipation, the Duttons have taken over our screens. That's a lot of Duttons to keep track of when combined with the characters from the last prequel, 1883. So we've put up a family tree to help you comprehend all those dramatic familial links. Watch till the end for everything we know so far about the lineage of the Yellowstone's first family as the Dutton family tree from Yellowstone is explained. Yellowstone, 1923, 1883, Dutton family tree. James, Tim McGraw, the 1883 patriarch, was a farmer from Tennessee. James made the decision to go west with his family in 1883, haunted by his memories of the Civil War when he fought for the Confederacy at the Battle of Antietam and was subsequently taken prisoner. James left Fort Worth, Texas with a wagon train that included his wife Margaret, their kids Elsa and John, his sister Claire, and Claire's daughter Mary Abel. But the trip was marred by tragedy. After Elsa passed away while they were traveling, John and the rest of his family made the decision to settle in Montana on what would one day become the renowned Yellowstone-Dutton Ranch. Margaret Dutton. The head of the Dutton family in 1883 was Margaret, Faith Hill, the self-assured and unyielding wife of James. She headed out on the trek westward with James and their family as a strong leader and passionately protective mother, only to settle on a property in Montana following the death of their daughter Elsa. Elsa Dutton. The narrator of 1883 was spirited Elsa, Isabel May, the oldest child of James and Margaret Dutton. To her mother's dismay, Elsa was a competent horseback rider and cowgirl who was passionate and determined. She and her family boarded a wagon train at the age of 17 in pursuit of a fresh start in the West. She met a cowboy named Enos along the route, and the two fell in love and made plans to be married before Enos was killed by some bandits. Later, Sam, a Comanche warrior who saves Elsa's life on the trek, gets involved with her. Sam felt he could not abandon his lands and his people, and Elsa promised to return to him after her family had finished their voyage and located a homestead, even though they both accepted that she was his wife. But soon after, Elsa was wounded by an arrow during a reprisal assault on the wagon train and passed away as a result of her injuries. James moved the rest of their family to the Montana location where Elsa breathed her last in her honor. Sam, a Comanche warrior the Duttons encountered in 1883 while traveling by wagon, claimed to have gotten his name from the guy who murdered his wife. Subsequently, he fell in love with Elsa Dutton, and the two later were married secretly. Sam stayed behind while Elsa and her family continued their journey since he felt he belonged there and was unable to leave, promising to see them again. John Dutton Sr. John Dutton, the son of James and Margaret Dutton, was just a little kid when his family established their homestead in Montana, on what would later become the Yellowstone-Dutton Ranch. As an adult, he worked on the family farm with his uncle, Jacob Dutton, and raised a family with his wife Emma and son Jack. Additionally, John Sr. is thought to be the biological father of John Dutton Jr., who would father John Dutton III, the founder of Yellowstone. Emma Dutton, the wife of John Dutton Sr. and the mother of Jack Dutton. She is also thought to be the grandmother of Yellowstone's John Dutton III and the mother of John Dutton Jr. Jack Dutton. Jack worked on the Dutton family's Montana ranch with his father, John Dutton Sr., and great-uncle, Jacob Dutton. Note, John Dutton Jr. might be Jack, but that hasn't been verified on screen yet. Jack is occasionally used as a nickname for John. John Dutton II. He was later to become the father of John Dutton III and the grandpa of his 4 children, Lee, Jamie, Beth, and Casey Dutton. He was thought to be the son of John Dutton Sr. and Emma Dutton. Whether he is Jack or whether John Sr. and Emma had another son called John has not yet been determined. Spencer Dutton. Spencer Dutton was the second child and was born after the family had moved to Montana. Like his father, Spencer participated in World War I and was still troubled by what he saw and experienced. After the war, he went to Africa to hunt big game instead of going back to the family property. Claire Nee Dutton. Having lost her husband Henry, James Dutton's stern sister was less than thrilled to accompany James and his family on their trip out west, but she did so against her better judgment, bringing along her teenage daughter Mary Abel. But Claire didn't go very far in the trial. Following the killing of Mary Abel and other wagon train passengers as a result of a group of thugs' retaliation against Claire, Claire killed herself next to her daughter's grave. Henry, James Dutton's sister and Claire's spouse. Before the events of 1883, he passed away, forcing his wife and daughter Mary Abel to go with the Duttons. Mary Abel, the lone survivor of Claire and Henry's 7 children, temporarily traveled to Oregon with her uncle James Dutton and his family. Their party was hounded by a local gang not far from Fort Worth, Texas, and Mary Abel was killed in the ensuing confrontation. Jacob Dutton. In the early 1900s, James Dutton's brother, Jacob, Harrison Ford, took over as the family patriarch. He worked the Dutton farm with his nephews John Sr. and Spencer, as well as his great-nephew Jack. He was married to Cara. Cara Dutton. The matriarch of the Dutton family in 1923 is Cara, Helen Mirren, who was Jacob Dutton's wife. John Dutton III. John, Kevin Costner, the owner of the Yellowstone-Dutton Ranch, the biggest continuous ranch in the United States, is the only member of the Dutton family that takes their responsibility to the earth seriously. John is a rich, strong, and uncompromising guy who follows his own moral code, sometimes dodging the law and other times blatantly breaking it to further his goals. This becomes more difficult when he is elected governor of Montana. John's relationships with his children, the now deceased Lee, Jamie, Beth, and Casey, are tumultuous, but he adores Tate, his grandson. Evelyn Dutton. When her children were young, John Dutton's wife, Evelyn, Gretchen Mole, who was perhaps his greatest love, passed away in a horseback riding accident. She was with Beth and Casey at the time of her accident, and both of them were traumatized by it. Beth in particular felt responsible for her mother's death. Lee Dutton. If not for the passing of Lee, the oldest son of John and Evelyn, the world of Yellowstone may have been quite different. Lee was the firstborn, and John had intended to leave the ranch to him. However, Lee was murdered in a fight over cattle that had been stolen, which complicated the matter of Lee's siblings' inheritance. Jamie Dutton. Jamie Dutton, the family's black sheep, battles with his feelings of hate and admiration for his father, John. Lawyer Jamie has sporadically sided with and betrayed his family's interests because he has spent most of his life anxiously seeking acceptance. He also maintains a very antagonistic relationship with his sister Beth. Having been adopted by John and Evelyn after his real father was in jail for killing Jamie's mother when Jamie was a baby, he unintentionally learns as an adult that he is not a biological part of the Dutton family. Christina. Jamie's son's mother, Christina, first got to know him while helping him run for state attorney general. Later, she teams up with Jamie's real father, Garrett Randall, to persuade him to oppose the Duttons. Jamie and Christina's son. Christina gave birth to a child sometime after she and Jamie broke up. Although it's unclear if the kid would have been called James or Jamie, it is revealed during the 5th season of the program that he was named after his father. Beth Dutton. Beth Dutton, the only child of John Dutton, is known for being tenacious and competitive in both her professional and personal lives. Beth does, however, have a tender side that is only seen in her undenying loyalty to her father and her long-standing love for her husband, Rip. Even though she has no particular affinity for the ranch, Beth is the family's corporate shark, squaring up against interests from the business world that pose a danger to the Dutton property. She is determined to destroy Jamie's happiness since she has a special dislike for him. Rip Wheeler. Rip, the long-standing right-hand man of John Dutton, arrived at the Yellowstone-Dutton Ranch as a rebellious adolescent. Rip was taken under John's wing while on the run after murdering the guy who had killed his family. He later grew passionately loyal to John, taking on even the dirtiest and most dangerous assignments. Perhaps Rip's love for Beth is the one thing that challenges John for his allegiance. Even though they first fell in love as adolescents, it took them decades to really start dating, work over their common traumas, and be married. Casey Dutton. Former Navy SEAL Casey, the youngest of the Dutton brothers, inherited his family's fiery nature. Although they both enjoy ranching in the land, he and his father, John, have a tense relationship. They were separated for a long time, in part due to Casey's marriage to Monica and his choice to prevent his son Tate from developing strong ties with the rest of the family. Casey has rejoined the Dutton family, although he still feels uncomfortable in his many government and non-governmental jobs for his brother. Monica Dutton. Independent and committed to justice, Monica never backs down from standing up for what she believes to be right, even if it means defying the crowd. Monica, who was raised on the Broken Rock tribe, has worked as a teacher at the state university, as well as on the reservation. She often harbors mistrust for the Duttons because she sees them as a possibly harmful influence on Tate, her and Casey's kid. Tate Dutton. Tate, the son of Casey and Monica, is more certain about the Dutton family than his parents are. He was previously abducted as a result of his relationship with the family, which caused him stress. Despite this, he seemed to enjoy the ranch and horses in particular. His grandpa John, who sees Tate as the ranch's future, gets along well with him. And that's it about the Dutton family tree. Thank you for watching.